Hello everyone. So today we are going to see data types. I wanted to keep the first lecture very light so that we just get started and we get some fundamental understanding on data types before we proceed to the complex topics. So in everyday life, we know that there is a numeric data and a text data. And usually we don't need to know more than these two data types in daily life. But when we talk about data analysis and we are trying to do statistics or we are trying to create charts and graphs, then we need to understand what the data type is. And based on that, we can do the transformations and further analysis. It is important to understand the data types because usually the data would be stored in a database in systems, and when we extract data from them, these systems, then what happens is we usually see that the data is in a different format than it was supposed to be. So, for example, date. This is how data is stored in a database system where we have these field names and then we have these field types. So, for example, date. So, ideally, the date should be saved in a date time format, right? But look at this, how it is stored. It is stored as a character. So, if I want to plot a line chart or a trend chart, I would need to convert a date to a date time object. Only then I can do some transformations like converting it into month or a particular day or particular year. So this is what it is. Okay. Similarly, any number also, say suppose a salary data can also be stored as a text rather than numeric. So why it is stored as a text or some other format? It depends on the database and how efficiently it wants to store data in the backend systems. So anyhow, that was a bit of a context that data types are differently stored in systems, and once we extract the data, we need to understand and see what are the data types so that we can transform them and use them in our analysis the way we want to use them. So usually we will see most commonly these are some of the data types. So a nominal, as the name suggests, it is the nominal names. So usually, for example, the colors. Colors are like red, blue, green, violet. These are names of the colors. So this would be nominal data. For example, name of the students in the class. This is also a nominal data. Usually, we do not do any analysis in nominal data, but we do know that nominal data is a very important data field in any particular data set. Now, let us look at a discrete data. Discrete data is any data which we can count on fingers. So, say suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, we can count on fingers, right? So, this is discrete. Opposite to this is continuous. So, continuous would mean anything which is having some decimal places. So, for example, 1.234 is a continuous data. So, for example, pi. We all know that pi is 3.14. So, 3.14 is it is restricted to 2 decimal places. But ideally, if you look at what is the pi value, it would be 3.145678910. It will be continuous. Anything which can be plotted on a continuous scale is continuous data. Now let us look at ordinal data. Ordinal data means that the data is having some logical sequence to it, some order to it. So for example, in surveys, right, we are asked to rate the quality of the product from 1 to 5, where 1 is the least satisfaction and 5 is extremely satisfied. So this is a scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is some order. We know that 5 is definitely greater than 3 and 3 is definitely greater than 1. But we cannot do any mathematical operation here. We cannot say that 3 minus 1 is equal to 5 minus 3. We cannot say this. Okay. So now let us see categorical data. Categorical data is anything which is from the name itself like category, right? So for example, gender. Gender is male and female. So this is a category. For example, salary. We know that salary can be in numeric data, for example, 50,000, 70,000, 100,000. But then rather than using it in numeric form, we are grouping and categorizing them as high income, low income, mid income. Okay, so this would be categorical data. Then another term is also important to know, that is binary. Binary is nothing which can, as the word suggests, bi means two. So any data type which is having just two values, that is known as binary. Usually you will see the binary columns as 0 or 1. So there are more data types in statistics, but to start with, these are the fundamental ones. And I hope you found it interesting, and I will see you in my next video.